Here is a classic open, different version of the song, a dance version, and then we go back to Mean Machine, the last time Elsack was a captain. Very rare to see so many years between captainships. There's El Jefe, you saw Charles, Saban, I think that's Joe Chira again. Not sure who that is, might be one of the Ancona brothers. There's Mog. Look at Mog before he was a slugger. And then, of course, Captain Elsack. That was a very, very funny team. Terrible red team.
Oh, Sandy Sham.
Reese, you ever see anything like this in your life? What happened here today?
No, it was unimaginable, indescribable.
A picture like this one is what I always picture when we do our anthems and Hatikva, the two teams lining up on each sideline. Love these old pictures. So many Hall of Famers on the real Big Red Machine from the late 70s. I can't believe I screwed up picture day this year again. Have to get it done in the playoffs. Pete Rose head first slide airborne reminds me of like Hollywood or Jacobati actually. They both go airborne on their classic head first slides. Then you're going to get this montage of all these home runs. They're humongous shots. That's Zach in the World Series on swimming. That's a baddie, a clean base hit. Fark, a famous shot on the night. Abe Haber, that's the swing with relief. PR, that's Game 5 of the World Series. Out at the plate, the MC throw. Just crazy, crazy bombs out of that quick 10-second sequence. And here's Uri.
That could drop. It does drop! Fumbled it! Plate to plate. Rebel! One hit wins the game! One hit wins the game!
Gotta think the Mog of today at least blocks that ball and makes a play.
One hit finally wins
look
the
at a
game!
Mog. Look at this game. Look at the relief from the one hit. Everyone knows the rules. 13 innings in the third game of the day.
Oh my goodness! Maurice the carry, Eddie Mishar. Max Yadid, 13 shutout innings, Max. 13 shutout innings. Gritty. Eddie with the walk-off hit out of the field. Zeke, you scored from first base. You kept going. You didn't think you had a chance to score when you scored a hit off the bat. Cut off. We threw it. Salute threw it.
Games that morning started 8:30. This is 4 p.m. and they're first getting off the field. What a marathon that was. And how about Zeke's mother standing right by him during the post-game interview? This team, the winner of this game, still didn't get into the playoffs. They had to play the Lumber Kings on Friday. That game got rained out. They started the game 8 a.m. the next Sunday. They got to the field in the 7s to start the game at 8 a.m. Big Red Machine, Elsack is back, and he embraces the red, and he embraces the Mean Machine from that awful year in 2019. He comes back in a vengeance and goes pitcher right off the bat in Maxwell Yadid. Gets one of the top arms in the league and avoids the issue of not having to draft El Jefe, his uncle. So that right off the bat, I sort of knew he was going to do that right off the bat for those two reasons. The Yedid year in swimming, 192 ERA, 12-2, but most astonishingly, 14 walks against 14 strikeouts for the whole year. Can you imagine in softball having the same amount of walks as strikeouts? Next on Wednesday night goes immediately with the rookie shortstop, Sammy Soroya. What do you think first of the Wednesday night start out of LSAC?
I played with Max in the fall. It's such a pleasure to play with. The guy doesn't walk guys. Doesn't even see 3-ball counts.
Right.
He's in control. He has good stuff. He's not getting me over no walks. He's got stuff with no walks. Ultimate competitor. Fields his position. You know, it's really a guy that, to me, he's the number one pitcher in the league. Number one. Not number two. He's the number one pitcher in the league. Wow. But what Max needs is you got to catch the ball. Last year, he had a 6.71 ERA. And it's not because he's not great. You know, it's frustrating when there's 4 or 5 outs in an inning. He's not getting himself into trouble. We talked about other pitchers get themselves into trouble.
He doesn't get hit. He doesn't really get
But
hit.
if you're not going to make plays, at the end of the day, it's softball. You know, the greatest pitching season ever, it's 20 strikeouts. It's 1 a game. It's 1.2 a game. So you're not going to be able to get yourself out of trouble. If they don't make the plays, that could be an issue. Now, he built a team where the left side of this infield, supposedly, I've never seen Soroy, but they say the one question is definitely not his glove. So they built a very nice infield here. The infield on this side is a big question mark. So as we start to dissect the team, you know, I think that if they make the plays, we see the Max of old. But can this team make the plays? I think in the outfield, 2 guys that are probably better known for their bats than their gloves, in Elsack and Bub. Alco's a great center fielder, but there's 3 outfielders. There's not just 1 outfielder. So, you know, he's going to hit, and they're going to need them to hit because we'll get to their lineup a little bit later. But in order to get the best out of Max, you got to make the plays. Not worried about this, but if I have a question mark in both corner outfield spots defensively from range and arm and everything, they'll catch the balls they get to, but how many are they getting to? Plus, you know, this is a question mark. Does that negate the pick of Max? When you pick Max, you want to go, in my opinion, defense, and they got into a little bit of a middle ground where they started picking, you know, different types of players that didn't necessarily help their number one asset, which is Yedid.
There's a big difference between Elsack in right and Elsack in left. In right, he's a gambler. He likes to play 10 feet behind the second baseman and throw guys out at first base. Not sure why he's obsessed with that particular play. But in left, he has to be honest. He has to play regular. He has to play deep. And he makes the catches, nothing spectacular, and he makes all the plays. I think Uri said it best about Bub when he said he might not be the best athletic right fielder, but nobody knows right field like Bub. He knows it like the back of his hand. And for 13 years, Bub is playing one position. It's very rare. One year he had to go to center out of necessity for his team. But for 13 years, he's playing right field. So he knows that landscape. Okay, go for it, Parker.
I don't know. I forgot what team he was on last year.
Golani Brigade.
Okay, so that says it. They got hot, I think, at the end. They almost went on a run. Made
Almost
the
made the playoffs at 0-6.
But this is not a Max Yedid ERA. I like the Henry pick because when he or if he does get crazy, this guy's the best guy to have on your team to run over to the mound and calm Max down. This
was a good call by Farka because of the mic'd up of Yedid. You saw how many times he and Henry talk to each other while in the field. Max relies on Henry to calm him down. They talk about what pitch he threw, what to do with the next batter, etc. Henry also the one, they riled each other up during the Navy brawl, but that's history already.
is going to be a big problem. We know that. We could already see it. Jack, I don't know if Alco ever played center field.
He played it last year.
He played it last year.
Yeah, on the Colt 45.
Okay.
And he played a good center field. He made a couple of outstanding plays.
I also heard that sometimes he makes the wrong throw to certain bases.
So this was actually a mistake. Nutty played center field. Alco played left on the Colt 45s. But either way, Alco proved this year that he could definitely handle center field and that he throws to the right bases.
Whatever. We all know that he's a much better left fielder than right fielder. He has trouble going in and back, mostly back. Bub could hold down the fort in right field. But with Yedid's speed, and most of the batters being right, a lot of balls usually go to that side. This is a very, very big problem. And then I'll just touch on Cerruti for a second. I never saw the kid play. The first time I saw him was Saturday night. I hear insane things about him. So this could be, obviously, is going to be their X factor. I don't think Max is their X factor because you know what you're getting with Max. Like Jack said, you're getting the same stuff. He's not going to walk anybody. But this kid's going to have to bat 5 and change, be a game-changing player. And I think this guy is going to have to really take a big leap in this league because from what we know, he's got a good bat, he's fast. So I'm expecting a dual X factor right here.
It's funny because the dual X Factors had almost identical offensive numbers, 444 versus 449. Both had slugging percentages around 900. I think Sammy 898, Alco in the low 900s. Both played great defensively in key positions.
This is the team right here, in my opinion.
Through 4 weeks of the season, it was neck and neck Rookie of the Year, Alco, Soliasis. And then you look at the rankings and you say it should have just been solely Estes on the ballot by himself. Why did you even put Alco on the ballot? He had 200 points less and he wasn't the same player. So I think it's a little bit of that rookie wall. It's a long season. Every week you're playing good competition. Their team was struggling for wins and there's pressure on him right off the bat. He was batting leadoff in front of Ali and Jimmy.
And playing center field, high pressure position.
So I think maybe it's year 2. You know, his talent will be able to show. It's his outfield. He's gonna have to get to a lot of balls. Bub will make the plays, but he's limited in the range. El Sacco will make the plays. He's limited, so he's gonna have to go right to left.
Comparing the two sophomores this year, Soli batted for a batting average 100 points higher than Alco, but I'll say Alco played the better center field. Even though Soli has probably the best arm in the league right now, it's unbelievable. I think Alco's better gap to gap, which is what Abadi was questioning.
My biggest question with Soroya is the adjustment defensively to our league is not the biggest one. If you're a great glove, the glove translates. But it's the biggest level step up in competitiveness, in what the league brings, in a Sunday morning start, and offensively it seems it's a mixed bag. Some guys come in and they do very well, but just as many, if not more, takes them a year or two.
Yeah.
Takes a MC a year or two.
Yeah,
and he was an older, takes a lot of guys, not that many guys make the Farka adjustment. First year in, and he's on the triple crown
I'm
battle.
gonna let you touch on it a second, but this guy, from where he was picked on a Wednesday night, you can't afford
what they need
hitter.
What they need and what he's going to do is 2 different things.
That's what I'm saying.
They need him to be 392 in the night league. But is it 592? Is it too much of an ask?
So guys like MC struggled mightily when he came, and Hank. Then you have Farco, who came into the league no problem. Uri came into the league.
Uri was on the board
in the beginning.
Uri, he had a
I think you
mixed
started
bag
off
year
good.
one.
You
Year
did?
1 was a mixed bag on
I remember seeing him hit.
He did not hit to the level he hit last year.
Right. Okay. Fine.
He ended up playing short on beast mode and played a nice short when Stephen Gindy went down. But Uri's second year is a thing of legend, 572 or whatever he hit.
Now this guy, I've seen him he plays softball, I believe, throughout the year. You drive up to Fineman's Field on a random Thursday to check the puddles, like I do. You're gonna see this guy on the field at all times.
Who's he on the field with?
It could be nobody. It's like when I see you there taking ground balls. It's the same type. He's not a gym rat, but a softball rat. He's always on the field. I believe he'll be able to handle it, but it's very tough to ask a 20-year-old kid to come in and be your second-round pick.
Get yo, keep it at Sarah's 10. Get yo, lock my jean at Sarah's 10.
Get yo crunchy chicken at Sarah's tent, and my favorite line of all, meet yo neighbors at Sarah's tent.
Get yo, give it at Sarah's tent. Get yo, lock my jeans at Sarah's tent. Get yo,
What a legend
crunchy
Bruce
chicken
Romano
at
is, trying to
Sarah's
keep and
tent.
supporting
Meet
Sarah's
yo,
tent. Love it.
neighbors at Sarah's tent.
I believe he'll be able to handle it, but it's very tough to ask a 20-year-old kid to come in and be your second-round pick. But if he's not good, this team is doomed. If he's not good, this team is doomed.
That's the clip for the video.
That's the clip for the video.
If he's not good.
If he's not good.
You'll notice we are stressing the if, because the geniuses from Mo Money were never able to decipher that when I gave them the F, it was an F if they allowed MC to actually pitch. So that's why we're stressing the if so much over here. By the way, I've never re-listened to that whiteboard of the Mo Money. I just know what I said because I know what I felt. But I'd love to do an analysis like this for the Mo Money one and see why I gave them the grade that I did.
Dude, hold on. So let's keep it clear for everybody here. What is not good? Give me an average.
Okay.
Look at he's going to hold down the
It's
position.
not even not good. It's on this team what he has to be because
Right,
what they
so
drafted.
what does he have
They
to
don't
be?
have a big bat up in the LSAC's as big a bat as they have, and he's driven in runs. But would you ever put LSAC and Hank and Jimmy and Yak in the same sentence?
Well, in the past you wouldn't, but this year you certainly would. First of all, Hank's not in that conversation for 2025. He didn't compare to the other three offensively this year. But even if you compare Elsack to Yak, Elsack had the better batting average and the better slugging percentage. Only Jimmy had a better average at .515 amongst these four people, and their slugging percentages were pretty close. Yak beat out Elsack 19-15 in RBIs, but Elsack is in this conversation with these sluggers, and it shows.
No.
So he's not that type of hitter, and if he's not that type of hitter, he's got to be Zach.
Okay.
He's got to be Forka. He's got to be Jacobatti.
So is sub 400?
No, sub 400. He's got to be a plus 450.
No, what I'm saying is, if he goes sub 400 and bats 389,
They're not making
No
is
good.
that what's going to
Yes,
dictate
yeah,
that? Okay,
yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
So let's hold.
I would say sub 450.
And this is where we lost our way. We assumed the production of all the veterans. We assumed we knew what Elsack would give us, what Charles would give us, what Henry would give us, what Hollywood would give us, and then the remainder would have to fall on the shoulders of Sammy and Alco. But actually, every veteran gave us more than what could have possibly been expected. Every veteran had career years, and that lowered the burden on Sammy Soroya and Alco.
I'm agreeing with
He's
you.
a
I'm
tenth
agreeing.
You're saying a year from now, this guy could go before you.
But we can't.
Everyone's saying
He
that.
could go one. He could go before both of you a year from now. They're saying so maybe
They're going to need that. They must be the fortune tellers telling them next year he is going one,
Right.
and that's why you take him at 11.
I got him at
and it's
11.
worth it.
Okay,
Right,
let's
that's a
move
steal.
on after this guy. Just to
Okay.
say one thing. He's yet to play in the YMSL. So you want to say the night league stats are very good, very nice. I don't know what other leagues he's played in, whether it's in the fall or it was with Hillel. He was coming out of high school. This league is very different, in my opinion, compared to any of the leagues that you may join. There's a lot of pressure going on. Now, could a 20-year-old kid handle the pressure of this league with Max on the mound and being the legit
He doesn't have to face your deep. That's
good.
one ace
But
off his
all
pocket.
it takes is 1 week that the guy doesn't hit, and they'll bring back the Discord
it's
just to
one of
talk
us.
about it.
It's
Every
one of
chat
us.
is going to talk. And let's say the opposite side. Let's say he hits 525.
Okay, good.
He has a great year. How do you feel about the offense of this team? Even
Okay,
with
let's
his
get
great
there. Let's
year,
get there. Go ahead,
even
go
with
on.
his great year,
Good.
what are we looking at? 364, 359, 364, 273, 171, 394.
Even someone like Henry, you don't think he had a great year, but he batted 40 points higher than he batted last year. Charles Saka, 359 last year, 659 this year, 300 points higher. Nobody could have expected that with the 10 extra base hits, with the high slugging percentage, the batting title, and the MVP candidacy. Yogi, another guy, he batted 171 last year. He almost batted 500 this year, almost 300 points higher on his batting average. Hollywood, over 130 points increase on his batting average. I know averages are up across the league, but not like this. This is remarkable improvement from the veterans. So had we give bad grades to a team that started 8-0 and ended in second place with the bye, we didn't expect every guy on the team that's been in the league forever to bat hundreds of points higher than their lifetime averages.
You know, Bub's great at the top of the lineup, but he's a singles, doubles hitter at best. We're putting him up for a good year. Alco needs to take a major step up, and Elsaka has to do what he did last year. So it really becomes Sammy and Elko. They need both of them. It can't just be one or the other. It has to be both.
Dual X factor.
Okay, so if everything works out well, you could be looking at an A+, because you have Yedid on the mound, and if Bub bats 500 like he usually does,
I still think this is.
So which pick bothered you? Because I didn't love for this team his brother Charles, and he traded up for him. I didn't like this pick for this team because I felt they needed a better bat.
Note to self, delete this Charles Saka analysis, and maybe people will forget that I ever said any of this.
Here than Charles.
They're missing a bat.
Do we know who else was available after Charles that he could have? I mean, let's.
Even the biggest Charles Saka supporter could never have predicted this. His best batting average was 2 years ago, 462. This year, 659. Best on base, 500. This year, 694. Best slugging, 590. This year, 976.
The Alfie was already solidified, so it would have to have been infield bat.
Charles was 51.
Pick was Max.
52, Mikey Miz. 53, Bernie Pindek.
Which I hear has a great bat. I've never seen him.
54, Avrami.
Bernie
55,
Pindek, another night league guy who hit over 500. Again,
Butchie, 56. You want to throw Butchie in the lineup?
Max Sutton?
No, Max was taken before him.
Max actually had a terrible year for the new nation.
35. Okay, Edmund Dweck.
Again, I hear, but I think that, you know, this being your right side, you know, what would look better than, you know, Nate Kush playing first base at a full-time gig and a 572 hitter here.
Yeah.
You know,
almost a round and a half, 2 rounds later almost.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think
2 rounds later.
You know,
almost.
If the cookie crumbles the right way for this team, and they get Yedid of 2 years ago, they make all the plays, and he has a great year, and he has a great year. Yeah, it's a Final Four team, and anything can happen. But I don't know if that's possible. Too many questions.
I believe that this kid is a lefty, so I'm not putting him at second base. So, which means that Eshko is your second baseman. This doesn't work to me.
What, you think he's too, annoying?
He's just too crazy, screaming at every single pitch, moving guys over.
Right.
Come on, Max, come on, Max. Max is a guy, leave him alone, let him do his thing. I could see him getting in his ear and Max getting annoyed. Aside from the fact that we didn't even know he could hold down second base.
By the way, I can't believe this ERA. I know he didn't have a great defense last year.
Maybe Hollywood plays a little infield.
I've seen him do it.
He's played, he's decent. He can make, but he's the same
plays.
infielder as he's an outfielder. He makes the diving
and then
catch.
the routine ground ball.
Right, exactly.
Sabag, I believe, is an outfielder, and this is not a great outfield, but he's not going to get in the outfield. By the way, Farka, what you said, how Yedid gives up this shot, that's Bub's best strength. Coming in, sliding on his knee. He misses 1 week one when it goes there, but after that he usually figures it out.
And don't forget Bub's arm.
Yeah, Bub has no arm. We understand that. Alco, I'm a big believer in. He reminds me of Buka a little bit. Hopefully the ball doesn't get by him.
Buka's another guy. When he came in, he hit.
Yeah.
Alco's a lot of it. He should be Buka. You know,
I think he has
things look good.
I can't get out of my mind that home run that he hit on Fine. I've showed up
coming out with the video in the video space.
Yeah,
was that over AB?
Maybe week 2.
Yeah, it was week 2 on Fireman's
West. Right under the canopy. You got the video.
What he said got me. It was like, you got to give me a minute to get used to it. Like, he knows he's a good hitter, I believe he's going to have a good year, but if he doesn't, there's too much for this team that has to work well. If he doesn't, who's
Like
batting third? Bub can't bat third.
When
Henry
we
can't
break
bat
down
third.
all the teams, it's a year where every team has a path to tremendous success. Every team they want to play a certain way, and when they play that way, it'll go great. But most teams, the floor isn't as low as this floor.
It's a
they
low
might
floor.
have the same ceiling as a lot of teams, but the floor could be 3-11.
Here's the floor here.
Which is crazy to say with Max, but like I said, if you don't make the plays, it gets regular real quick. Swimming Max is the greatest, but the defense they built was the greatest.
That was the greatest defense you could get on a field.
He's almost, gonna leave it. He's not gonna ever beat you. He's never gonna have that. I woke the 9 and 10 hitter and I put the team in a bad spot. He's the best,
But you know what?
Gotta make plays.
He is the best. Fine. You want to say that. You want to put him better than AB. He also works so quickly, which is his strength. Everyone loves that. Max, you need games. I know
Okay,
from
you're done
cleaning the
by
field.
11:45.
11:40, you're off the field. I know it from cleaning the fields. And Jeffrey Sappy, you're going to be there till 12:30. It's a full
We
hour
played in a
difference.
fall league that started at 9:15. We were done before 11:45.
I believe it. No one works quicker than this guy. But sometimes he doesn't breathe. He catches the ball. He throws it. He catches. He throws it. And sometimes it gets away from him. And that's 671. I know it was a bad defense on Golani.
He'll also tell you
total
he didn't have
dysfunction.
his best stuff. Also, he doesn't
Yeah.
blame the defense.
No.
You speak to him, he said, yeah, I gave up a couple of 2-out hits. Now, how did you get to 2 outs and man
Right.
out? People made errors. But,
Right.
that hit, he takes it and he wears it and he's accountable.
So we've seen this Yedid, 671. We've seen swimming Yedid, which is the best you could ever see. 10 walks in the whole year. Broke every
The
record.
greatest pitching performance in the
Ever. Assuming he goes somewhere in between that and he's regular Yedid, is this defense... This is good. This is not
Is this
good.
a Max Yedid team? Is Max Yedid going to be successful?
Yedid told me in the preseason when this came out that even though his biggest strength is how quickly he works, it keeps the fielders engaged. He said this actually helped him for when things get out of hand every now and then. A shaky inning, takes a deep breath, takes an extra beat. Amazing that a show like this could help an ace like Yedid sort of slow things down when things go the other direction.
Win 10 games, not 10
Swimming
games,
had Z and Farka.
Right.
If they're Z and Farka, they're great. But I think, my grade, I think as it is today, I think I can't, the floor is a little bit too low for me, and I'm going D+.
David?
You want to put my name?
Sure, yeah, I'll write it for you, no problem.
I don't see this as a Max Yedid team. What that means, I don't know.
I don't know what that means. I was going to ask you.
But you can't rely on two 20-year-old kids to carry a team in this league. I'll give the benefit of the doubt because it's Max.
I am struggling because it's Yedid.
Yeah.
I'm struggling.
You might say in 5 years these guys are on the MVP ballot, but this team
Could
needs
be
it
2
for this
years.
year.
Could be 2
You
years.
know what? Is it this
Sometimes
year?
you look at the trophy and you're like, how did this guy get with this guy and that guy and that guy? Like any team you look at.
Shalou, Greenberg, and
Yeah.
AB on the same
Oh,
team.
but that was different.
Yeah, that was very different. That was deep, dark era where Max Sutton was the only guy who knew certain players, and then he drafted all of them and had a team that really should have never lost a game all season. I'm talking about when a guy is young and not yet established, so you draft him late, like when Zach was drafted in the 10th round, or when other greats were drafted so late in their rookie year. You look at the trophy later on and you're like, how these guys play all together? It's because one of them was not established yet.
But he can't. I don't know.
So who's batting 3? Elsack?
I mean, I don't know. I just don't see this kid with his speed. Does he have that game
has
changing
to.
effect?
He has
batting
to.
third. It's
Yeah.
that's a high pressured spot to
Doesn't
bat.
matter.
He scored 18 runs,
Doesn't
which is
matter.
a
That
batting
batting
leadoff,
leadoff.
but only hitting 362.
So
So
do we know his
he had
on-base
Ali and
percentage?
Jimmy. I don't
Listen,
have his on-base percentage.
Also, it's
Yeah.
very hard to play on a team your rookie year with Ali and Jimmy. That's
Granted.
that's tough. He's in a much better spot between Elsack and Bub, both league veterans. They're going to help him out over here.
They're in a position to thrive.
But Farka, he has to bat third. He has to.
I don't see it.
You don't. Well,
I think
then
you're
you
gonna
don't.
maybe you put him 2 and you make and Soroya's bat is but I
that
like
good?
a guy who gets on base with Bub and him. That's setting your team up for
Okay,
success.
so now let me ask you a question.
If
Is
these
this
two guys
guy,
get on base,
is this guy that guy you want in a big spot coming through with a big base hit?
Yeah, I'll
or
take
maybe
him
you
there.
go Elsack, who's got the electric bat, and put Alco maybe in the 5 spot with Henry,
No,
who's a veteran hitter.
He's a better bat than
I
you
would
think, this guy.
if you're gonna move Elsack up, I'd even move Henry up
That's what I'm
because
saying,
I think
and then go Alco 5.
Henry needs to be somewhat of a protection to
Yeah,
Elsack.
not the
Because
lefty bat.
when I'm playing this team, it's just about don't let Elsack beat me.
Right.
Because if Henry's behind him, I have to think about it because Henry has a clutch factor. He can do a lot. He has the same qualities as Mavora a little bit, where he can hit the ball
He can pick his
into
spots,
different
for
places.
sure,
So
for sure.
if you have no protection for Elsack or Alco, it might be something that teams just pitch around Elsack and he gets a lot of walks and we pass the baton to this bottom of the lineup and see if they can turn it around.
One thing swimming did, back to swimming with Yedid, because the lineup was so short, they took Nate Batesh and they put him 1. A guy who doesn't belong batting
And he
1.
had a great year.
He had a good year because he was in front of
400.
Barca and Zach. Maybe, if you have to, you put Eshko 1, maybe? Hollywood, maybe?
Charles 2 years ago on Moshiach had a crazy offensive year, but it was 1 year. They might need something like that.
Let's say you sneak a guy at 1,
many
then
ifs.
you go.
many
Then
ifs.
you go.
Yeah.
Sammy, Alco, Elsack. You put Bub, who we both like leadoff, but he likes 5 for some stupid reason. Then you have Henry 6. Maybe you have to sneak a guy over here. Maybe. I don't
They gotta
know.
try to do something, and they have 7 weeks to figure it out. But
Right.
they gotta also make the plays, and it's just a lot for me.
I don't think this team has 7 weeks to figure it out. I think this team has a week or 2 to figure
Right.
it out before it gets out of hand. That's my opinion. Norm? Grade?
It's a very tough grade because of Yedid. I
That's
can't
why-
give a team with Yedid an F or even a D, although I should have given that team last year. I knew it was
Go on.
bad. I didn't have the guts to do it.
Go on.
But I'm going to go, I think I got to go with, it's weak. This is a problem. Ruby at first.
Did
Eshko,
Yogi play first and
Sabag.
Holly would catch, but Yogi's
Yogi
a question mark at
batted
first.
under the Mendoza line. Yogi was on the interstate, 171 over there. I mean, this is ugly, guys. This is ugly. It could be good. We know it could be good.
It could be good, and it was good, and it was much better than anyone could have imagined. We were measuring floor to ceiling. They shattered the ceiling. Every single veteran batted either 40 or 100 or 300 points higher than their batting average. Defense excellent across the board on this team. They hit on every cylinder. If they could keep it going in the playoffs the way they started this season, no one could beat them. So we will see how it goes, but this team overperformed in a good way at every single turn.
I'm going D. I'm going D with Yedid on the bump, and it probably will get ugly before it gets good.
Jeffcon 1, are you ready? Yaya, dug over! Yes, here we go.
David Center. Call David Center. Call David Center for a new vehicle.